Hello, everyone, and welcome to our broadcast towards the end of our Mad Day, our first Mad Day. So, yeah, this is Mad Day, making a difference, because today we have been celebrating ways to magnify abundance, vitality, and freedom, the book that we've launched today. And I have the absolute pleasure of having three of my co authors here in the room with me. And Jenny, our wonderful, wonderful marketing person. So I'm going to throw open to Craig first off. Craig, tell us a little bit about you, a bit about your intention for the book. We'll start there and then we'll go on from there.
So a bit about me. 38, courier by trade, in the transport industry. So the intention of my book is I've been on a life journey for the last 5-6 years, all the way back to 2017 when the catalyst of how to give you a second chance was pretty much conceived or born. So the intention of this book was basically telling my story in a way to grasp other men who are going through similar situations, not as such as the same situation, but pretty much similar, because we all have our struggles as men. They just come out in different ways. Yeah. Childhood wounding, etc., coming out sideways when we hit our mid-30s. It can go anywhere. There's no set definition. And through my story is the way I share it in a way that I can relate to men on how to pretty much give themselves a second chance in a way that it's possible. It's the possibility if they want it.
So that life is not predetermined.
Life is, it's not a predetermined fate.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I mean, obviously, we're talking about situations where if you've made questionable choices, there are consequences. But what I'm hearing you say is that you can learn from those questionable choices and come out the other side. Tell us a bit more about how you work with guys for that purpose.
So it's about learning from your mistakes, turning your life experiences into life tools. So what you've already been through as a man, whatever your age is or whatever you're going through, been through, or about to, turning that catalyst of an experience into a life tool that can help you pivot forwards. That's the area that I work in.
Cool. Thank you. So it's that moving forwards and not staying stuck where you were.
Yeah, pretty much staying stuck, overwhelmed, because the journey in my story has had a lot of criminal sort of consequences and also a suicidal attempt. And a lot of the academic research does lead down that way, with men with a high suicide rate and a high recidivism rate of 87.5%. Again, not all men end up in the justice system, but the consequences of men who do break, who do crack, can go down that way. I went down that way and narrowly took a bullet for myself, but rose from the ashes, hence the phoenix of my brand, the Second Chance Man. It's about rising from the ashes and moving forwards in a different concept or light of life, and then taking those experiences, turning them into tools with the support of a brotherhood, and then passing the buck on to someone else. Nice. And uplifting them, paying my debt forwards.
So you're passing the baton on to the next generation. Love it. Thank you.
Yes, we're desperate. We need strong men in our communities. Masculinity is dying. And I don't speak from a hyper-masculine way. I speak from a balanced perspective of the masculine and the feminine. We need grounded men who can stand solid in the roots of their beliefs and their convictions of who they are as men. Okay, and lead these communities. Because out there, we're dying. Society's going sideways. There's young ones out there who are lost. Well, they may not be lost themselves, but theoretically, the direction that they're leading in life shows in the results that they're gaining.
Yeah. And that's where you come in.
Yes.
Great. So this is the Second Chance Man manifesto. And in the book, you share with us the first 2 pillars of your 4-pillar thing. And so thereafter, that's when we can get hold of Craig and go, right, Craig, these boys need some help.
Yes, these men need help. I don't work with boys. Men.
Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
It's a 4-pillar system. It's not a cookie cutter approach, which is a bonus because no man's the same. No man's an island.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Terry, I'm going to come into you now because your chapter is around living by design, not default. Mm-hmm. So it kind of comes in a bit more from Craig's stuff, because Craig was talking about the fact that questionable choices lead to consequences. And your work is also about sort of cause and effect as well, isn't it? Tell us a bit more about that, would you?
Absolutely. So every decision that we make, whether it's questionable or otherwise, has a consequence. And if we don't take an active role in the decision-making processes and just kind of choose what's in front of us and go with default thinking, we will end up with a default-styled life, and it's usually not what we want. So my work is all around helping people to be really conscious of the choices that they make, helping them to define the future that they truly want, and then supporting them through the process of creating change from going from wherever you are right now to where you want to be. So in that, in terms of what that looks like in the work that I do, it's about creating a visual representation of the life that you want. And I call that a dream board. My business is called 10,000 Dreams because dreams come into my language a lot. And once you've got that visual, we then, okay, what do you need to get there? And how do we help you to go from where you are today to where you actually want to be? So there's a bunch of different processes there. And as Craig said, none of us are cookie cutter. The difference, while we'll have a framework that we'll all work through because there are similarities with every human and every human experience, the individual pieces will absolutely be unique to whoever it is that we're working with at the time. So my big passion, I guess, is about helping people to think differently about what they do, how they live, the choices that they make, so that they can stop that default process, that living life by default, and start to create the life that they've designed and live that life by design.
Lovely, thank you. Again, it's back to those thinking processes, isn't it? Yeah, thank you very much. So on that theme of thinking and how we relate to each other, Andrew, I'm going to ask you to share with us a bit more about your intention for your chapter and how that came about.
Can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah. Hi.
Did you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah,
yes.
I can hear you. Yes.
Did you hear
sorry.
Yeah. Did you hear the question?
Can you come? I didn't really get your question. Sorry.
Okay. I was saying that coming in from Terry's side, when it's around about the way we think about things, and also the relationships between who we are, who we want to be. And your chapter looks in a bit more about relationships between people, doesn't it? So can you tell us a bit more about what you were bringing to the book from that perspective?
Okay, so what I was trying to achieve in my chapter was really to speak about I think what I call the current world that we are living in, and my discovery that the world was getting a little bit more polarized in the sense that we started to have more disagreements, and these disagreements led to, I would say, sometimes arguments, and if it doesn't get resolved, it may become conflict or even create crises. So what I wanted to achieve was hopefully I can create that awareness so that we can address such disagreements from different angles, and hopefully with these differences, we can live with the differences we have, and hopefully these differences can make us better. and instead of tearing us apart.
So creating that almost unity through diversity.
Yes.
Appreciating other people's perspectives. Lovely. Thank you. So your intention with the book is to bring people's awareness to the, as you say, we've got an increasing polarization of opinion very often, haven't we? And it's what do we do with this? As we've got in the banner underneath, our differences make us better. Exactly. Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Clara, I'm going to come to you now, because again, we've got this sort of golden thread coming through of how we relate to ourselves and to each other, and circumstances were a bit interesting for you growing up. So, or rather coming after that. So I'm going to ask you, can you share with us how your experiences are now shaping your work, please?
Of course. So for me, my early life was very difficult, and the circumstances were very difficult for the family, and I was put into care. I spent 5 years in an orphanage or a girls' home. During that time, I, unlike a lot of other people, did not have bad experiences. In fact, the person that looked after me gave me basically the will to go out and try anything. And that stayed with me all along. She was a carer. She got an Order of Australia medal for her work with children. And so I was lucky enough to be in her care. So from that point, I had that situation where I was building resilience, but I was building resilience in such a way that it was for my benefit. So navigating both going home to a home situation that wasn't as good, and then going back into the care situation where I spent it in the girls' home. So what I've done over all my life is reflect back on how lucky I have been, and what an honor it is to have situations occur that send you into crisis mode, but then having the strength to come out of them again. And what can you build from that by finding your strengths? And so I've had quite a few cataclysmic crises. I have been through situational depression 2 or 3 times in my life because of it. And so these days what I do is I try and take what I've learned and to support others to find the strengths in themselves to be able to cope and to come through and see the light.
So powerful, so powerful. Thank you, Clara. And that's the thing, isn't it? All of us have some form of experiences. They may be cataclysmic, they may be catalytic in the fact that they propel us forward if we're prepared to go down that route. But at the time, they feel pretty, basically, she says quietly. But I mean, the point is that as we're going through it, nobody likes that painful experience. But then if we can take that step back and go, okay, how can I learn from this? What is my intention from learning from this situation? That's where we find the gold, isn't it? And every single one of us here has been influenced by our experiences and taken them and used them to make a difference in the world. Love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Jenny, you've been part of this whole book project. I know that you've had some experience of writing a book in the past. And how have you used your experiences from the book perspective? Because, I mean, this is something I'm going to ask all of us again, how the journey has shaped us where we are at the moment. So, Jenny, just a diddly tiny bit from you, please, as to what you've done since your book writing experience, because you've done it a bit before us.
Oh, wow. That's quite a bit to cover there. I'm going to focus on a couple of things. To me, the book writing experience in itself was cathartic. I wrote it at the last minute and pumped out my 3,000 words. And I expected the worst from the editor, but they were very kind with their writ marks. And there was very little that I needed to do, except for a stretch that Crystal gave me to go even further with my book back then called Inspired Connections. Using that experience and transforming in the knowledge into what we have done with making a difference, it's my combination and contribution to this project has grown like tenfold. Yes, we had a lot of fun creating all the marketing and the promotions that we've done. You know, the scheduling, the bringing together of things, of fireside chats and of the panel discussions, everything that went behind the scenes to birth this beautiful book to the world. And really the essence of this book is making a difference. And Wendy and I, when we talk, we call it MAD, making a difference. We're totally mad, committed to mad, absolutely mad, certifiably mad. That's my favorite, certifiably mad. And I know Terry's experienced this now. Whenever I get asked, it's, Jenny, what do you do? Well, I make a difference. I'm certifiably mad. That goes without saying. And to be a part of this mission has been a gift and a boon to me, incredibly. To work with these beautiful, amazing souls who are inspired to action. We stretched them, I can see. I know that we stretched them with the writing. Oh yeah, that was just 40% of what we actually did. The rest of it was everything else that came after the writing. And that was the even bigger stretch. And to see the transformation has been quite something. It has been quite something. I mean, as an author, as a speaker, getting your word out there on more than one platform is incredible. We all now know that our words will live past us. They will surpass us. And there are books that I read 20 years ago that I still refer to as my life-changing book. And that is what we hope with this book, the gift of this book. So to me, my biggest wish from this book is that all the people who are reading them feel that power of mad, feel certifiably mad, that they're making a difference to themselves and to the people around them. Because that's why we've worked so hard to bring this forth. Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely. Because the point is that we have all made a difference in getting your words down on paper and then going from page to stage and talking about it, sharing our work, our wisdom with the world, with the aim that our work continues, we're making a difference in our work, and we're inspiring the readers and ultimately our hearers when we are up on stage. We're inspiring them to go, yeah, okay, I may not have exactly the same experience, but I can relate to the underlying feelings. And yeah, if they can do it, so can I. And look to see how each of those individuals can then pay it forward, as you were saying, Craig, and making a difference in the lives of the people that they interact with. I mean, my vision for this Making a Difference book as the lead author was that we are dropping our pebbles in and the ripples are going bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you magnify all those ripples together, we got a tsunami going on, guys. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, I mean, we were talking about it this morning because for those of you watching now and didn't see this morning's version, there's been a golden thread running through that all of us have been thinking. It's about the way we think. It's about the way we relate to ourselves first and foremost, and then from there that we can relate out to the world and make the difference inside out. So yeah, that was my thoughts. Craig, you look as though you want to say something, sir. You're all good? Okay. So anybody else like to say what their plans are for future from here? Clara, I know you've got a talk that you're doing tonight. In an hour, we will be going live and Clara will be sharing her message on a virtual event. And Terry's got a live event coming up.
I do. Would you like me to share a bit some more about that one, Wendy?
Oh, yes, do.
Okay. So for those of you, I live near Toowoomba in Queensland in Australia. So for those of you who are local, on the 27th of August, I have been invited to be a keynote speaker at an event here called Kabbalah Ladies Day. Now, this event is pulled together by 2 local ladies and run as a fundraiser for Heart Kids. So the beautiful thing about it is that going to Kabbalah Ladies Day, you can raise money for that. But then if you buy a copy of my book, or our book, that will give some money to Destiny Rescue, which is the charity that the book is supporting. So I love the fact that we've got, multiple opportunities there with a single purchase to make a difference in those worlds. But I've been invited to be a guest keynote speaker at that event. So I am so excited. It's a big thing. I'm a little bit scared, but I'll get there. I've just got a lot of work to do between now and then.
Estimated number in the audience?
200. 200 people.
Estimated number in the audience?
Yep, 200 people.
200. Good.
And it always sells out. So if anyone is interested and hasn't got their ticket yet, run, don't walk, basically, otherwise you will miss out. It always sells out. There is always a waiting list. There are always people who miss out because there is a thing called capacity. So yeah, it's going to be massive, and I will have books there that for physical signings you can buy them from me, and I'll get to share a little about the book and a little more about who I am and what I do. And one of my big missions about in this whole the presentation that I give that day is about helping people to start that process of assessing the little bits in their life that are not what they actually have designed, the stuff that is where they're sitting in default mode, so that you can start to create some change. I want people to walk away from that event, regardless of whether they buy a book or not, because obviously I would love that, but I want you to get benefit out of the conversation that we have, where I happen to be on stage anyway at that event. So very, very excited for it.
Very good. Well done, Terry. So Clara, tell us a bit more about your event happening in an hour.
I'm doing a virtual reading for the first time to a group of people on Zoom. Now, I'm very used to one-on-one on Zoom. This is going to be another first for me today. So that makes about 3, I think. So in about an hour, I'm going to be allowing 20 odd people into my virtual space, and I'm going to introduce them to the concept of how I got involved in the book. And then I plan to read a few sections of my book. I've aligned them with the campaign that was run with the quotes. So the parts of my book with the quotes in are the parts that I'll be reading, and do segues into each section so that people know that there is that it is connected. And then at the end, because my focus in the book is journaling, I plan to give everybody the opportunity to do their first journaling activity to start their journal.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you, Clara. That's exciting. That's exciting. Craig, have you got any speaking engagements coming up?
Not as yet. But future planning as a professional speaker, yes, I have a podcast interview coming up. I've just got a
Well, there you go. That's a speaking gig.
nail appointment where we both agree on a time. So yeah.
Well done.
But yes, speaking is my passion. So we've got to get out there and share this message in a way that connects with these men, in a way that doesn't matter where a man is on his timeline, whether he's an 18-year-old squire just starting out in life, looking to experiment with the young fella sort of side of life responsibly and freaking out on how to do it, or in his 30s and got a few scars and nicks on him and going through that sort of era in life, or could be an elder at the end of his life, the sage sort of state. You can still learn to give yourself a second chance. Doesn't matter where you are as a man. We can do it.
Looking forward to seeing you on stage, sir. We'll get you there.
Yes.
We'll definitely get you there.
Speaking is a passion, so absolutely.
Good man. Good man. Andrew, what about you? Have you got anything lined up yet?
Like I said, I think earlier today, right? Right now, when I was finishing the book, I think maybe like friends of the same feather flock together, right? So I was really like Jenny. We really left it to the final hour. So after my full submission, then I realized, there is a next part of it I would like to share more about. And I think this was really the whole journey on writing this book, right? Was I had this imposter syndrome, and I always go back to Jenny, asking her, hey, Jenny, I'm not even sure I can provide a solution to this problem that I'm sharing about. And Jenny did assure me that, hey, Andrew, your point is just to get the message out there. You are not there to solve the world's problems. So just get the message out there. So while I was writing this message, I somewhat came to come up with what I feel is the next version, where I'll be offering a few more solutions, and I'll be very excited to write about that. So that's one thing. I think the second thing is I was running through this sharing with my personal coach, and I think it gave him a few ideas how to run something he wants to run in 2024. So he told me that, Andrew, I'm setting up this mastermind group, and we are going to meet quite regularly, and I want you to speak there every single meeting when we do it. So I think that's I can consider that as a small win, and I dare not say I'm going to share the same stage with my personal coach, right? But I think being in the same room with him, and of course other individuals to really brainstorm on topics, is something that I am very thrilled to be part of. Yeah. So
Great.
These are just some small wins. Hope to announce more in time to come.
And by the way, every little celebration, no matter how small you think it is, deserves. I'm not sure whether my phone will pick it up. Yes, the bell of success, and absolutely, Terry's got one too. So yes, we have to celebrate even the little baby steps. So each one of you here. Actually, Terry, are you a left-hander? No. Okay, I think we're all right-handers. Okay. Right hand up. Cross over the other shoulder. And pat yourselves on the back. You guys have done phenomenally well today. Jenny, what was the latest stats that you just popped up? Amazon Canadian, #1 in hypnosis. #2 in hypnosis books. And #6 in hypnosis. Wow. We are shifting butt.
We have hit bestseller categories in 3 countries.
So we are now international bestsellers.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Amazon Australia, and this is the US. So congratulations, everybody.
This is amazing.
Yeah. How good does that feel? Number one, best-selling international. Yes, double shaky shaking. Yay! Last night, I was not sleeping too well because of the excitement. You might have caught my post on the combination of excited and nervous. Thank you, Jenny, for that wonderful word. Excitement. Now, you put those two together, and that's kind of where I'm at. I think it's going to be just as bad tonight because I'm just still on a high. So well done, everybody. I am super thrilled to have been part of this journey with you and to see where you go from here. Let's go and really make a difference in the world, not just today, but every day. There you go. On that note, I think we'll wrap up. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And
Thank
to
you.
everyone who's going to grab a copy of the book, jump into a chapter that resonates the most with you and share it. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Tell someone about it because there's someone else in your network who might need to hear it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hey,
See you